Thank you. I have goals to lose some weight, get more money, all the usual things. Discouragement, how to improve my attitude. Is it like act as if, make believe to get the feeling long enough to get the vibration going?
Well, it really is, but if you were close enough to the vibration where you could just begin to act as if, it would be a very short time before. In other words, there's not much vibrational improvement that has to happen once you are able to act as if. In other words, that's like saying, well, just change it and it will get better. And so what we're getting at is that sometimes you have to work your way up the emotional scale a little bit before you're in the vibration where you can begin to act as if. So let's take the subject, whichever subject you want to address. Which subject do you feel is showing up in your experience more often? Which one do you think?
Body weight.
And so do you recall a time when your body responded differently to food?
Yes, yeah, when I was younger.
Tell us about that.
I would eat in a regular way, but maintain a much lighter weight, 100 pounds lighter.
So I believe that my body has cellular memory, that when I get back into alignment with a positive expectation, that the cells of my body will adjust. Now, do you believe that it has anything to do with age? Because you said, when I was younger. And did you feel how, when you said, when I was younger, that you started moving toward the direction of discouragement rather than encouragement? Could anyone feel that?
I think it has a lot to do with age, especially after my last physical. My doctor, new doctor, gave me a full physical, and he kept giving me compliments by saying, "You're not on any medication?" I said, "No." He says, "You're doing so well for your age." And he looked in my eyes and said, "Your eyes are so clear for your age." And you know, your heart, your lungs sound so good for your age.
My fist is so good. The better to punch your lights out with, my dear. Yes. Well, you're right. There is a lot of programming that's going on. But when that programming happens, now this is a wonderful thing that you are telling us. Are you saying to us that when this maybe well-meaning, having learned how to perpetuate his own industry person, said those words to you, that you could feel a diminishment in the way you felt?
Definitely.
So his words made you feel what? Discouraged,
older and less
disempowered.
empowered. Yes.
So did he lead you on an emotional journey that is to your advantage?
No.
Absolutely not. And do you have to go everywhere everybody leads you in their ignorance?
No.
And so do you want to repeat those words and take that emotional journey even when he's not with you? Or is there a different journey you'd like to take?
Oh, there's a different journey.
So here's the thing that we want you to hear. We want you to realize that he might have influenced you to those thoughts, which gave you those feelings, and those feelings were your indication that those thoughts are taking you in the opposite direction of where you want to go. But now you want to remember that you can control your own emotional journey. So you don't have to think about him. He doesn't really know. And even if he did know, it would not be to his advantage to lead you to health. In other words, and we don't mean that he is deliberately leading you away from it, but he cannot help but have his own ulterior motives. In other words, there are remedies all over your planet today that the Food and Drug Administration is deliberately doing everything that they can to keep you from knowing about them, because it's not to their advantage for you to know about them. And so it's not because they're bad, it's because they're selfish like everybody else. But we're suggesting that maybe you should get selfish enough that you begin expressing the words that feel the best to you. So what would you like to say about moving through time, or about your cellular body, that might feel better to you than that journey that your physician attempted to take you on?
That I'm getting better with age, that I'm getting more knowledgeable, wiser, and I'm learning how to take more control of my own health than when I was younger and make better choices.
Good. So now your confidence has returned again. Now beat the drum some more and take it a little further.
I can also choose people who can support me rather than listening to people who discourage me. and maybe spend more time talking to them.
Good. Now there's a little anger in that.
Yes.
And that's all right, because anger certainly feels better than powerlessness.
Especially after my birthday gifts. 3 people gave me exercise books for my birthday.
Well, they have a birthday coming up soon. So,
Noticing my body temperature is coming up.
that's metabolism.
There you go.
So now you say, I am in charge of this body, and I love this body. And there are so many wonderful aspects to this body, and this body has been and continues to serve me so well. And I love to soothe this body, and I love to bathe this body, and I love to take a walk in this body, and I love to have a meal in this body. I am appreciating this body. And with no trouble at all, we can feel appreciation from you about your body. In other words, we have sort of moved up the emotional scale, and we've diverged a little bit from the specific subject at hand. But it is our promise to you that you now feel better about your body. And so, having taken this slight emotional journey, now the cellular response in your body is different than it has been. And now here is your next assignment. Your next assignment is to take no score in terms of scales or in terms of measurements or in terms of asking anybody else what they think about where you are. Okay. And if you have people in your life that seem overly concerned or aware of what you eat, you might tell them that you have a very strong experiment going on and that you don't want their intrusion into your experience for just a little while.
I like that.
And tell them that you'll check back with them in about a year on that subject. But between now and then, that you would like no commentary, no instructions, no rolling eyes, and no more exercise books. In other words, just be firm with them. Let them know that you've got a plan, that you're feeling really good about it, and that that's 90% of the battle, and that you've got this handled, and that you don't want them reporting back on what they see anymore on this subject. Now, that felt pretty good, didn't it? In other words, that's part of that confidence that is returning. And now, write a letter to your physician. Don't mail it, but write a letter to your physician. And say to your physician, while I know that you mean well, I'm wanting you to know that it took me, how long ago were you there?
About a year.
It took me a year to get over my last visit with you, and so I won't be coming back anytime soon. In other words, I am coming to recognize that the way I feel is everything, and I am returning to my natural state of well-being. And so I'm wanting to announce to you that I have assigned myself a bill of good health, and I am on a very powerful journey toward the perfect ideal body weight. And someday I'll drop by and see you and tell you how it was that I achieved it. But for now, I'm just letting you know that I'm not going to be dropping in to see you for any discouraging words anytime soon. Because I'm on this path of encouraging words. I've discovered self-encouragement is the path to all things that I want. And self-discouragement is the path away from all things that I want. And I've discovered through trial and error that there are things that I remember that you said that are discouraging in nature, and there are things that I remember you said that are encouraging in nature. So I'm picking and choosing in my memory from my conversation with you those things that are beneficial, and I thank you for the beneficial things. And then you say that everywhere you go to anyone who will listen. As you sit in front of a plate full of food or in front of a buffet, you literally announce to the food, I am appreciating the benefit that you offer to me. I'm appreciating my means of being here to participate with you. And I'm anticipating that we will have a good relationship together. And as you begin to talk to yourself in these encouraging ways, you will begin to feel better about food. You'll stop feeling guilty about things that you eat that you want to eat that you feel guilty about. It isn't about what you eat, it's the way you feel about what you eat when you eat it. We're surprised that any of you can find anything to eat. There are so many things that so many people have told you. There are so many things that are so much wrong with so many of the things that you want to eat. And so when you sit in front of food, fear factor begins to happen within you. It's like something bad is lurking in that food. It's either got carbohydrates, or it's got too much sugar, which is carbohydrate, or it's got too much fat, which will clog my heart. So it's got too much of this that will raise my cholesterol, or it's got too much of this. And we say there is so much disapproval that has been assigned to food, and then you have transmitted that disapproval that's been assigned to food to disapproval that's been assigned to you. And you can't thrive and disapprove of what you're doing and what you're eating and how you're being at the same time, you see? You gotta do something to quell the disapproval. You've gotta start feeling good about what you're doing. I'm decisive. I'm confident. I'm doing this on purpose. I'm not a foolish man. I know what's good for me. I'm thriving in so many ways, and I'm gonna thrive relative to this too. And we promise you, you will.
Thank you. Thank you very much.